Wonderful people, hello. Welcome to another interview of the series New Generation Hypnosis, where we meet good hypnotists from all over the planet to share informations, content, stories, and personal experiences. My name is Caruso Colzi, and today our guest will be Christophe Courtin. Hello, Christophe.
Hello, Caruso. Also in French, my name is Christophe Courtin, but that's all right, I think. I've been in the UK for long enough. I can answer to pretty much anything. So Christophe Courtin, the anglicized version is fine as well. No worries.
Perfect. Thank you so much, because I cannot speak French. So very briefly, tell us who you are, where you come from, and what you do.
Well, as we just established, I'm Christophe Courtin. I am mainly an IT manager day to day as my full-time job. I'm also a martial art coach. I've been doing it for about 10, 11 years now. I teach Aikido. And more importantly for this interview, I'm an hypnotherapist, and I've been doing it part-time for about 3.5 years now. And I operate in Folkestone, which is in the south of the UK, just on the coast. So if I go over there, take a walk, I can see France over the big river over there. So if I feel homesick, I'm fine. And I've been in the UK for about 22 years now. And my specialty is anxiety and depression and stress, all that group of issues. But also, like everybody else, I can do whatever you want, but you know what it's like. But yeah.
Christophe, how did you approach the first time the world of hypnotism?
Well, it comes back quite a long way. At uni, I was lucky enough to have introduction courses to NLP and also transactional analysis to help us manage people and coach people. And I've been able to use that in my day-to-day life and work as an IT manager, but also as a martial art coach, always using all those tools to help people progress and correct them if need be, and all those kind of things. And also for me, the hypnosis part of it was more relevant when I was starting to do martial arts, because like in any sport, when you start to look at any kind of performance, you quite rapidly start to look into how do you optimize your performances. And what comes straight away is the mental aspect of it. So how do you focus on things? How do you cut out distractions? But also things such as guided visualization. How do you practice in your own head to help yourself perform better? And how do you do self-motivation? How do you get yourself in the mood, in the right attitude, the right mindset? So that basically led me to look into more and more, how can I improve the mind? And meditation, visualization, and hypnosis started to come along quite a long way, starting to appear more and more often. But I really jumped officially into hypnosis about 4 years ago. And that was because I had my own issues, my own problem with anxiety. Long story short, I had a nervous breakdown, a bit of a burnout for many, many, many reasons, a lot of pressures all over the place. And so, yeah, panic attacks, brain fog, fear, not being able to go out, or at least being very anxious about it. I've had it, so I know exactly what it's like. And I've been very lucky to receive therapy, and my therapist was brilliant and helped me quite rapidly as well. And that's when I was able to use a lot of hypnosis recording from YouTube to help me with insomnia, help me sleep, just help me relax. And that's when I started to think, yeah, that's just words, really. I think I can do that thing. And I started to look more into it. And once I got out of my nervous breakdown, when things got settled down, I started to reevaluate what I wanted to do with my life. And one of those things was I wanted to help people just like I've been helped there. I think to have a more meaningful job satisfaction, so to speak. I think my main job, I really like it. It's brilliant, but it's not quite the same as helping people with their lives. And I found a local course in hypnotherapy, and I thought, well, if it's rubbish, then I'll have a bit of fun with that. And actually, it turns out that the local trainer, Betty George, was brilliant. And I did it was a 6-month course in hypnotherapy. She just gave me all the basics foundation to go out and be an hypnotherapist. And I haven't looked back since. And from then I looked out and keep learning, keep looking at courses, because you never stop learning. And that's when I then later on went on to learn online, especially lately with Mac Mendel, the Jack Wins, and a lot of other different people, and meeting a lot of people, coaches, and also fellow students from all over the world, which is very interesting. So yeah, so that's how I am now, 3 or 4 years down the line with my practice and doing my best to help people.
But beside the 3 or 4 years that you're working, it seems like a long journey that you had, because some of us, encountered hypnosis also for our problems, for personal problems, and then we kind of attach ourselves to this discipline. Yeah, and in all those years that you studied and that you worked in hypnosis, what did you discover that it's more fascinating you than anything else, that you like more in the field of hypnosis?
Well, for that, I think is a superpower that we have with hypnosis, but it's not in the way people expect it. With just a few words, well placed at the right time, you can change someone's life, physically and mentally as well, which is always fascinating, always blows my mind. It feels like a superpower, except that I don't have that power. I'm just borrowing it from my client, because they're using the power of their own mind. And a lot of people always think of hypnosis as mind control, like I'm going to make you do what I want to do and everything. It's not that. It is mind control, but I'm helping people control their own minds. And what they can do with that, even now I've been doing it for a few years, still astounds me. From the usual mental health thing, yeah, you can help yourself calm down, you can help yourself with phobias, but also with the physical aspect as well, which when you think of it is obvious, because if you influence the brain, you influence the body. But the things you can do with that is always impressive. And actually yesterday, I think it's, as you know, we had a talk by Gary Coles about psychoneuroimmunology. And Gary is very active in hospital settings. And he was explaining all the different aspects of all the research that's been done and how you can help people with their hormone level, with their immune system, a lot of different things. And that made me realize yesterday that how I've only scratched the surface of what we can do with that. But even simply, personally, just think someone coming in my office in tears or with trauma, with a weight of the world on their shoulders, and an hour and a half later, see them leave the office lighter, laughing their head off, with a big smile on their face, feeling better, just by using a few words. Well, you know me, quite a lot of words, but the right combination. And yeah, it feels like I said, it's like a superpower on this one, and it's fun.
Yeah, I believe it's priceless when people leave your office and they smile.
Oh,
That's
yes.
when they get inside, they really, really sad. It's really priceless. And yes, I agree with you. We just scratch the surface of what we can do with the mind. And also, I agree with you when you say that basically, if it's mind control, it's our mind control. We're not going to control the other people's mind. So, yes, I agree 100%. Well put. And I know that you work more often with anxiety problem and you develop a way to gain control. We call it, talking about control and mind. So would you like to elaborate something about it?
Yeah, but basically, I make it up as I go along. I improvise. That's be the main gist of it. But by that, I mean, everybody's different. So even though you deal with a label, someone coming in with anxiety or phobia or depression is always different. So you can't just rely on one trick to help everybody. You really need to build enough of a toolbox so you can choose the right tool for the right person, or even a combination of tools as well. And obviously, yes, there is an overall method to it. So I think it's the most important exercise to listen to them first. Just sit down, just listen to them. Don't assume because they told you, oh, I've got an anxiety issue, I've got a phobia issue, I want to start smoking. Don't assume that's the problem. That's what they see is the issue. The problem might be somewhere several layers down. They may not even know it themselves. So what I always do is try to, well, listen to them first and give them the space, the mental space to express themselves and do the work. Because as I said, I don't do the mind control, they do it. So, and I give them the tools they need to do the work on themselves, to make it easy on themselves. And I don't know where I heard it from, but someone once said, in hypnotherapy, we are the Merlin to their Arthur. They are on a quest. They got to slay the dragons. You're here to help them. You're here to give them Excalibur. You're here to give them the tools and everything. And I think that's what I quite like about it. And with anxiety and stress and depression, yeah, there are some common problems. It could be a trauma, past trauma or current trauma. It could be simply they got too much on, they got a lot of pressure and stress going on. Also, they could be doing what I call emotional hoarding. So they kind of keep piling on all that negativity on themselves and keep it on them. I need to be strong, I need to carry all of that. And they're just being buried by all of that. Or a combination of all of it. And again, obviously there are sometimes other issues, but that's the most common one. So overall, my method is to de-traumatize, educate, and then we work with what's left. So what do I mean by that is de-traumatize is explain to them what's going on with them. Anxiety, all the different symptoms can be scary. Why do I have that heart palpitation? Why do I have that tension headaches? What's wrong with me? What can I focus on anything? And people don't realize what it is. We know, oh yeah, the freeze, fight or flight response is the adrenal response, is that. To us, it's obvious as therapists, but for Joe Blog or Jane Doe from the street coming down and see us, it's not obvious at all. So sometimes just by telling them, that's okay, it's normal, here's what's happening, it's a normal reaction, maybe out of control, you're not gonna die from it, you're not going crazy, then they start to feel reassured already. So already you take the, I've done something wrong, something's bad with me, you take that away. And once you've done that, once you've educated them, then you can just give them some tools to deal with the symptoms. So whether it's breathing technique, whether it's bilateral stimulation, whether it's tapping, or whatever else you want to do, or kind of modality shift in NLP, you clear out the emotional side of it, and then you can deal with whatever's left beneath it. And I'm not going to tell you what technique to use because there's so many. But yeah, listen, build rapport with them. If you can make them laugh, I think I always find a bit of humor, well placed, goes a long way. It's very hard to be anxious if you're laughing. Now, I'm not a comedian. It's not my work. That's my wife's job. But I always find that a joke well placed can go a long way. But yeah, adapt, because sometimes you're going to have someone coming in. You can have a soldier with PTSD. You're going to have a CEO with too much work. It could be a single mother with too much pressure. Yeah, you've got to adapt with them. You've got to build rapport with them. You've got to speak differently. You can't just take a script and read it at them and hope it's going to work. It doesn't work like that. And again, you can't have, well, I believe you can't have just one technique. It's just like going into a fight, knowing one punch and hoping to win. It's not going to work. Like in a fight, someone's coming your way. You got to deal with what they give you as well. Okay, so it's very dynamic, basically. It's a process, it's cooperative. We work together to help them change. And once you got all of that done properly, then you can realize that change can happen very, very fast, but they need to be ready for that. And that's a big thing. So again, that's why to come back, de-traumatize, educate, and then deal with what's there, and be patient. Because as I said, change can be fast, but it can take a while to arrive, if you see what I mean. They're not always ready straight away to do that change. Sometimes you need a few sessions to just get them there, and then magic. But
it makes me laugh that we have to be patient.
Oh, yes.
But you said something really curious about the way we call things, symptoms. Because just saying anxiety or panic attack, it doesn't mean nothing. Lots of people have different symptoms, different way to perceive what they're feeling. So sometimes even delabeling the anxiety name is already a technique. That's why the new generation hypnotists, they don't talk about technique. It's about concept, because we have tons of techniques. It's not about just an anxiety or just a panic attack. You do this or you do that. Wow, you shared already lots of contents, but I'm going to ask you even more, because beside all the things that you're doing, also with the other job that you're doing, you are a Aikido coach, and you fought in your life against not only human beings, but also parts of yourself. Yeah, there's a kind of fight inside sometimes. And can you explain how martial arts and hypnosis can be combined together, not only for the mental illness or mental problems, but also organically, how they can combine together?
Okay, well, first thing I would have to say is I'm lucky that I never had to use violence in the street. Okay, actually, I've prevented a fair few fights and avoided a few as well. So I don't want people to think I'm just gonna go around and punch people in the face. That's not me. I'm non-violent. So I think first I need to describe what I'm doing. So the martial art I'm studying still now is called Aikido, and I've been practicing it for about 19 years now. I'm not getting any younger. And I've been a coach for about 12 years. I've been running my club in a town near here called Dover. And to oversimplify, Aikido is a relatively non-violent defensive martial art. And we use the energy of the opponent against them. That's the beauty of it. We also have the duty of care of the opponent. So not only I've got to defend myself against someone else, but I've got to make sure they don't get injured, which is unique in martial arts. Martial arts is, you hit me, I'm going to hit you back fast. So there's a lot of subtlety going on there. We try to stop the attack, not the attacker. And for people who don't know anything about Aikido at all, never heard of it, you can think of it as a mix of Judo and Tai Chi, in a way. Again, it's a simplification, but you'll be able to have an idea of where I'm coming from. So martial arts and hypnosis, well, I believe that practicing martial art in itself is hypnosis. It's a type of a trance, because you go in the dojo, you go on, before you go on the mat, you bow, so you're anchoring yourself. I'm doing my martial arts for the next 2 hours. Everything else stays outside. And I just focus on that one thing, whether I'm teaching or practicing or both. That's what I'm focusing on, and that's it. And again, hypnosis is a state of focus. So that's what you're doing there. And actually, what I was mentioning earlier on, when I had my problems a few years back, I believe that going to the dojo 3 times a week for 2 hours and just leaving everything behind and just clearing my head for 2 hours kept me sane, literally. So that is a very, very powerful thing. It's very therapeutic in many ways. And for anyone who's done any kind of sport, whether it's fighting or even if you just go and play golf or basketball or whatever it is, you often hear about the zone when you go into the mental state where your body and mind just work together automatically. Where if you're playing basketball, you see the hoop, boom, it goes in. When you're playing golf, you just know where the ball is gonna hit. You fully integrated body and mind. That's a trance, and that's something which is, when it happens, when you feel it happening, feels brilliant. So you can even ignore, for example, the grading panel. If you're in competition, you can ignore everybody else, the audience, if you're having a match or a fight. So, and you focus on that one thing. You may even experience time distortion both ways as well. Sometimes you feel like you've been doing a move for 30 seconds when actually it was instant, and sometimes it's the reverse. You go on the mat, do something, you come back, am I done already? It just goes like that. Again, it's a type of trance. But the one thing about Aikido, which I think goes a long way with hypnosis and what we just said at the beginning, is the founder of Aikido, Morihei Ueshiba, his motto was, and I wrote it down because I don't speak Japanese fluently, but it's called Masakatsu Agatsu. So I'm sure you speak Japanese fluently, but for those who don't, it means true victory is victory over oneself. Basically, in a martial art, how can I influence someone or control someone if I can't control myself? So I need to be able to be in control of my mind and my body to then be able to make an impact on someone else. So that goes a long way into what we do as therapists. So if you want to be a therapist, we need to make sure we are in a good place ourselves. As you know, if you're in a bad mood, if you're tired, if everything goes wrong, cancel your appointments. You're not gonna be any good to anyone. So that goes a long way there. But I'm using Aikido in my practice with my clients because I fight anxiety disorders the same way I fight people in Aikido. And there are a few elements in Aikido which are vitally important. The first one is that relaxation is very powerful. And that's something people always underestimate in any martial arts, whether you're doing Aikido, boxing, kickboxing, wushu, I don't care which one. If you tense, if you always like this, like one block, you can't move, you can't do anything, and you use a lot of energy to be static. It's not good. If you just relax, be grounded, you can move easily, you can do your move easily. I even did a couple of videos because we got a trick in Aikido called the unbendable arm, where basically I can put my arm on someone's shoulder and tense, and they can just go around and bend it easily if I use strength. Then I just put my hand like this, just pointing over there, nice and relaxed, and they can't bend it anymore. By doing less, I have more power because I'm using my arm properly. Same thing with your mind. If you use your mind properly, you can relax and be more efficient. And the other one, obviously, is breathing. Breathing is vitally important, not just to stay alive, but to generate power or absorb power. I breathe in, I gather power, and then you can expel, you can push, you can punch, or let go of tension and relax. So how you breathe is very important in many, many ways. And the main thing as well with Aikido is, the main lesson is, you don't have to fight things head on. It's too much hard work. Even if you're strong, you might find someone stronger than you. Aikido, we're crafty. If you come to punch me, I'm gonna shift myself, I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna make you fall over there. I'm gonna go where you're weak. I'm not gonna take it, why should I? I don't like pain. If a punch goes my way, do I want to block with my face? No, of course not. I'm gonna make sure it misses me and I can redirect it. So there's a lot of things going on there, which unfortunately, I don't have the math, I don't have the partners, I can't demonstrate to you physically, but there's a lot of things you can really do with Aikido, which you can do mentally. And the final one on the Aikido part as well is a good reframe. Like in Aikido, we don't have attacks. I see them as, I'm receiving energy. Someone's grabbing me. You're not trying to bully me into something. You're giving me your arm. I've got a connection. I can do something to you now. You come with a sword. Oh, it's energy coming this way. I can now move to the side and use the energy to make you fall this way. So if you think of it differently, it stops being scary and say, oh, fun, goody, goody. You're giving me things to play with. And it does change drastically how you think. So that's the few things I'm using in my practice to explain to my clients that, yeah, there's more than one way of dealing with things. You don't have to be strong, solid, and head-on. And the final thing as well, I would like to say as well, is as an hypnotherapist as well, and I'm moving to the other side of it, is just like in martial art, your mental attitude, your intent is vitally important. In a fight, sometimes if you got the right posture, the right intent, the right eye contact, you might make the opponent think twice. They're going to think, no, I'm not going to go and fight this guy. You know what I mean? And it's just about attitude, a good assertive attitude. You know, okay, I'm going to be the best fighter, but I'm going to give it my best, and you're going to go down, and you get that in your head, and they're going to perceive that as well quite easily. And the same thing with a client. If you've got a client that come and see you, and you say, oh, okay, so let's see what we can do to help you. Oh, you got anxiety. Sorry about that. Okay, let me find my script here. Now, you're there. Yeah, sure, I'll help you, and I'm going to help you. 100% convinced I can definitely make a difference. And it's better to have average techniques and a very strong attitude than the best script in the world, best technique in the world, and doubting yourself. And that's a big, big thing there. So because then you build rapport, and that's, if you've got a good rapport, if you've got good intent, you're halfway there already just from doing that. After that, scripts, protocols, in martial art term, I see them as kata. It's, okay, it's how it works in another world. You got a nice choreographed form. That's what kata means for people who don't do martial arts. And it's teaching aids. You learn the move, you learn how it should work, you learn the principles. But if you try to use a kata in a fight, in free play, it's not going to go well for you. You've got to adapt. You've got to change what you do. If you always go jab, jab, hook, because that's what you've learned to practice with, in real life, that's not going to land. It might, but it's not guaranteed. So you've got to really adapt. You've got to deal with the person in front of you, because, yeah, you've got a dynamic living person in front of you. Scripts are not spells, okay? You need to, it's a cooperative thing, and you got to adapt and go with the flow. Like Bruce Lee was saying, be water, my friend. And that's what you got also to be like in hypnotherapy. You got to roll with it, because you never know what they're going to give you. And sometimes it can go very differently from what you expected. And if you just stop, then they lost confidence. So go with it, roll the punches in a way, and be flexible. And I could go on for hours, but I think
I know. You said something. It reminds me a lot, because I work like this with my clients, but everything has to be adapted, because we are so different. We are unique as human beings. And also what you said, I repeat it constantly to my clients. To me, I think the 90% is the mindset. If you have the right mindset, the right attitude, the 90% is already done. The rest is just do whatever you have to do. So yeah, but also I believe I'm going to interview more and more, because you have tons of stuff to teach us, man. And I knew this one would be a great interview. But until then, I have to thank you so much. Thank you really so much.
Thank you.
If you have something else to add, or you want to say something about the new generation of hypnotists, it's fine.
from all the people I've met recently, because I've been lucky to be in that course, like with you, with the Jacquins, and meeting people from all over the world with so many different backgrounds and a lot of different experience. And it's very encouraging. I'm very optimistic about that next generation. There's so much enthusiasm. There's so much skills out there. And every time I've connected with someone, whether they were in Australia or in Toronto or India or wherever, I've learned something every single time. And again, as I was saying earlier at the beginning, I've only scratched the surface of it. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years now. And I'm really keen to learn even more. And I think this next generation, as you call it, there's got so much more to offer. But again, obviously, we are building that. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. So let's not forget the people who taught us and the people who are still there helping us and sharing their knowledge, because without them, we won't be doing anything. But that new blood I think, is mean that for the next few decades, I think we're still going to have very good hypnosis going on, very good hypnotherapy, and we're going to progress even more thanks to the progress already made by our teachers.
I agree 100%. And also thanks to the technology that can connect us. I mean, I'm in Italy, you are in England. I've been doing interview with English, with Americans, with Russian people, with Indian people. So we're gonna grow more and more, man. Thank you so much for what you shared with us, and have a great evening.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.